shared in Ghana here, in Accra here. You see, all of us here are singing the same song. If you ask us, we say we don't have cars. If you ask consent, they say they don't have cars. If you ask GSCC, same problem. And like I said, our good friend, the local government minister, had said what we should have said, but he has said it for us. So, considerably, once we don't have time, we think that the best request among all the things we had listed is that we need more cars. We need more cars that can cure this problem. These artificial storages cannot come. And when we even have cars of that nature, and then we put them all on a particular terminal, and then the evening time is up, and then somebody intentionally don't come and then go and pass over to go off-road and charge extra peso, then that person will be, this car will be seized. It will be a pinning point for everybody to do what is right. We know compliance in Ghana here is always a bit difficult unless you add more force on it. And I think we will do the right thing when you work on it, and then we'll get this new fleet. Excellency, thank you.
We are encouraged by your words, and I'm thanking you for being succinct but to the point. Mr. Minister, at this juncture, with your permission, I would hand the mic over to, unless you want to do it, sir.
Let me still express my joy with the meetings we had with the union and all gathered here this morning. I earlier on said we are blessed by the presence of Her Excellency, Madam Vice President. As a mother of the country, her children have spoken. She has listened to us. And I want all of us to remain quiet whilst we listen to our mother with the words of encouragement that she wants to give to us, and with the support she is coming from the presidency with the president to give to us. We today are complaining. I know, time to come. As said by my colleague, if for over 10 years all these institutions are not retooled, and we are here with this problem, I believe Madam Vice President is here with good news. She's going to back us. The President will back us. And the good news is already clear, that if someone does not show concern on your problems, he will never offer advice or solutions to those problems. For her taking the pain to be here, leaving all the other activities, the President is not in the country. If you enter her office, so many issues are before her, people are there to see her, but she's here. That concern alone has solved this problem. So once again, Madam Vice President, your children want to hear your good voice and sweet voice, and we know that as a mother, we will all live here smiling. I thank you, and may you please welcome Madam Vice President.
Thank you very much, Minister. Please allow me to address everybody who is here, the ministers, union leaders and members of the press. Actually, I think I can address everyone as colleagues and friends. Is that okay? All right, then, colleagues and friends. Good morning. And Minister, thank you for the kind introduction and for putting the smiles on all our faces. Yes, it's a difficult time, and we need to show concern. So this explains the primary reason for being here. I'll go on to read my address, but at the same time, I also want to respond to some of the feel I'm getting in the room. I'm getting the sense that this is a shared responsibility. So I'm not the only one who has left what I'm doing. You've also left whatever you are doing. so that we can all come together and find solutions. So I want to thank you for it. I was made aware earlier in the day that you had a meeting. So also thank you for your indulgence, because we have more or less disrupted your meeting. But I'm also very, very much concerned that at the end of your meeting, you get more details that the ministers can share with us, so that we can all team together in finding a solution. It's not an amusing situation. I've gone to the market, I've gone to school, I've gone wherever I need to go to, and I need to return. And having queues all over the place is not the most effective way of anybody spending their time, especially if you consider the kinds of frustrations that the situation is causing. As the Chief of Staff, my Chief of Staff has said, we can also become victims of our own success. You know, when we saw the crowds in town, we all thought, oh, it's just Christmas, which was more or less expected. But it doesn't look like the crowd has left. And therefore, there are persistent issues, and we need to resolve them. So the transport sector seemed to have been waiting to exhale, and you are now exhaling, which is good. But in the process of exhaling, we need to team up and resolve the issues. So these are some of the comments I need to make. And I also appreciate your impatience in getting the problems resolved. Yes, even if for 10 years you haven't had support, it doesn't mean that going forward you should never get support. So we understand, but we also want to plead for your patience. We all know the situation. We all know all kinds of deaths and situations we need to resolve. We are not complaining. We are just asking everybody's support, everybody's patience in finding solutions that work for the benefit of all of us in this country. So on behalf of His Excellency the President, I want to thank you very, very much for your support and cooperation, which you have demonstrated so far. And I know we can count on it going forward. And especially for making the effort to meet with us this morning. I'm very, very grateful. And I also want to thank you for your support for the 15% reduction or so? Yeah. Yes. And that's important because it cushions commuters. And who are the commuters? If they're not from my home, excuse me to say they are from your home. So they are it's about all of us. So thank you very, very much. But recently we have received all the reports about the stresses that commuters are facing, especially during rush hours in the morning and worse in the evening. I saw one and it wasn't amusing at all, you know. And sometimes the problem is caused by all kinds of situations, including even exploitation by some of our own drivers. Some long queues at bus stops and terminals, congestion, and all kinds of stresses that come with this situation. And we are informed that our fellow countrymen and women, we want them to be aware that government is not blind to the situation, that we have not seen, that we don't care, we think it's somebody's problem, it's everybody's problem. That is why I started by saying that we need to team up to find the solutions. We believe that the problems have solutions. I may not have any of them. You may have so many of them, and we are always willing to learn. So please continue to team up with us as we find solutions to problems that bedevil our country. And we know the roles of the public sector in transportation. I mean, you carry the burden, if I may use the word. You carry the responsibility, and our job is to ensure that we are lightening the burden so that you can play your roles well as a private sector. This is one way that we evaluate the presence and the input of the private sector. So we depend on you for all of us to reach our workplaces, our schools, our markets, wherever we need to go. And this is also the trust of your responsibility. And we know and we expect that this responsibility will be grounded in fairness, in respect. So I want to encourage open communication for all of us to resolve the issues. So this meeting is very, very important for us. We want to ensure that no passenger feels exploited, whether through fares or queues or even lapses in safety protocols. We need to promote fairness, transparency, accountability in everything that we do, regardless the sector. So I encourage that we also communicate clearly, fairly, respectfully with our passengers or the people who patronize our businesses. So please, with all respect, I want you as leaders to monitor your membership in order to prevent unnecessary negative comments and outcomes. So I want to pledge that the government continues to provide the necessary support to improve the welfare of passengers and of drivers. We have the big push. Fixing the roads is very, very important for us. And at that time, it's not just for the drivers or the passengers, but for all of us. It has implications for every sector, the road, the transport. If I'm sick and I'm going to the hospital, and the driver tells me that where I live has a bad road, and so he's not coming to support me, we can all know the implications. So it's a very, very important intervention. So we want to modernize and expand our transport services to promote and improve access, to ensure affordability and security too for the motoring public. We are taking steps. So we are therefore taking steps to improve the public transport system, not only by retooling, but also, of the state services, but especially of the private sector too. And I hope that answers your concern about the support that you need. So I'm happy to see the smile on you coming back. So, in this vein, His Excellency the President has asked me to assure all of you that he will give support to Metromas, Ayalolo, and the private sector. With new high occupancy buses in order to augment the services in the medium term. We also have plans to ensure that those that need to be repaired, that the process will be expedited to ensure they can put more buses on the road as soon and as quickly as possible. So my pleas are, let us continue to work together to develop a transportation system that prioritizes fairness, efficiency, excellence. And I know and you know that we can. We are relying on each other to make that possible. And we can do this by upholding high standards, treating passengers with respect. And by so doing, we will also strengthen the trust of Ghanaians in the private transport sector. Thank you very much for your time.
But do it well. I'm not happy.
At this juncture, Mr. Minister, as I have indicated, we will be going to Metromas from here, and then after a very short visit there, we'll move to Ayalolo. But before we do that, we will ask to have a group photograph downstairs in the forecourt. So if the cameras could leave us and go and station straight away, and then the union will move out. So we'll leave Madam or we'll take, all of you should hold fire. We will take Madam to the minister's office first, and then when you're all ready, we'll come and fetch her, take the photograph, and then we move to Metro Mass. Thank you very much.
And you're still here on TV3. You just watched that interaction between the Vice President and stakeholders in the transport sector. Let me just bring you a wrap, really, of what transpired. Of course, the Vice President having heard and seen firsthand what has been happening across the country, particularly in the capital city as regards the supposed scarcity of vehicles for people to move freely about. Concerned about it, of course, with her entourage, decided to visit the Transport Ministry to have that conversation. Of course, in her company was also the Chief of Staff in her office, Alex Segbefia. And first, we heard the GPRT General Secretary saying that members are not creating any artificial vehicle shortage, as it were, and pleaded that the Transport Union needs additional vehicles so that they are able to operate and help passengers across the country. Of course, we also heard that Transport Minister as well, Joseph Bukari Nikwe, also giving his thoughts as regards what's happening. And of course, there was a meeting earlier. You heard the Vice President talk about trying to get details regarding what is the situation on the ground and what needs to be done to deal with the problem. And that short, as it were, message from the Vice President, of course, acknowledging that this is a shared responsibility. All stakeholders must come on board to ensure that this problem is dealt with, and also promised that indeed the government is willing to give all the support to help deal with this problem, and hoped that the Transport Ministry's engagement would lead to solutions, as it were, bring a lot more solutions as they get details regarding what's happening. Of course, was unhappy about the queues at the various lorry stations and the fact that passengers may not feel safe or feel cheated because of transport fares, the need for stakeholders to look at all of that so everybody feels dignified even using transport. Of course, talked about the need for open communication, the government pledging necessary support, like I said, to deal with this problem. Of course, through the big push as well, which is government's one of government's flagship programs. And the government will equip Metro Mass, Ayalolo, and the private sector with new vehicles. And she did say that, indeed, in terms of repairing vehicles that are broken, if you've been here on TV3, we spoke about the Metro Mass vehicles that are broken, about 400 of them that need repairs, and also over 100 Ayalolo buses in that new Achimota lorry station that we brought you exclusive information on all of these. The Vice President talks about expediting the action towards repairing these vehicles so we'll have enough on our roads to deal with this very problem. My name is Beatrice Edu. You're still here on TV3. Do enjoy the rest of our programs and stay here.
Morning routines, daily